everyone, and welcome to another installment of TED Excellence, the show in which I subject myself to pseudo-academic presentations for entertainment and education. I call it Entercation. And I come to you live from my Corona bunker on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I had something stuck in my teeth there for a second. Yay, live TV. Hope you're all doing well on this wonderful Thursday evening. Turbulent Thursday. Oh, it's been a day. I started out the morning with what felt sure like a migraine coming on, and it got pretty close. But thanks to some extra strength Tylenol, a nap, plenty of water, and some exercise, I think I dodged that bullet. Thank you guys for those of you that wished me well on Twitter. I appreciate the sentiments. And yeah, so I'm fine now. Really, I am. So being fine, I'm going to watch a TEDx. Or actually, this is a TED Talk. This is an official TED Talk. This is the cream of the crop, guys, the top of the heap. I'm sure it'll be great. We'll get into that in a minute. But first, who's joining me on this beautiful Thursday evening? Jaeger Pony, hello. Keeverdam, hello. Resolute Germ, hello. Derek LaRue, thank you so much. Once again, Derek, thank you so much for your support, your consistent, constant, ridiculously generous support. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well this evening. Who else is here? Shell D, hello. Mike R, hello. Maddie, hello. Emperor WR Costin, hello. Evil One, hello. Blakester, hello. Miranda Stone, hello. And then who else? Jamie Melquist, hello. Roger Reynolds, hello. Keldrake, hello. Bearded Devil 1864. It was a very good year. Hello. Angelverse, hello. And I hope I got everybody. If I missed you, if you're lurking, or if you're in the future, hello. I'm sure there'll be some more as we proceed. Woodcutta, hello. So this evening, we're going to find out how millennials and Gen Z can invest in a better future. How is that any different than what anyone else could do to invest in a better future? Is this going to be a presentation about cryptocurrencies or NFTs? Are we going to be talking about green energy or something else? I don't know. But because, as you know, when I need financial advice, the first place I go is to TED Talks or TEDx Talks. No, in fact, I don't do that. But also, over the course of this, it may happen that I give my opinion on whatever investment strategy or advice our speaker is giving. For legal reasons, I'm going to predicate that I, as well, am not a financial advisor, nor do I have any real financial advice to provide other than the basics of don't buy what you can't afford and stay away from credit cards if you can help it in any way, shape, or form. Other than that, in case you decide to do anything our speaker says or take my advice otherwise, I'm not a fiduciary. And I say that only because I saw that there was a reason to do that with those NFT videos and Earth 2 things and all that other crazy stuff that people have been pitching. And after watching several CoffeeZilla videos about financial scams, I just think might as well cover my bases. So there you go. I'm an English major, not a financier. My investment experience goes only so far as my 401k and a mutual fund that my parents opened up for me when I was 18 years old. That's or was it 13 years old? Something like that. One of those teen years. But yeah. But specifically, I'm curious, why are we portioning it out on the basis of generation, millennials and Gen Z? Has our speaker given up on Gen X and the boomers? I suppose probably so. Are Gen X boomers now? I think we are, probably. A couple more hellos, and then we'll get into it. Old Guy Gamer, hello. Decode, hello. And the Luke Skywalker, too, hello. And I am under the distinct impression, possibly, that Sister Scribe is listening right now. So Sister Scribe, if you're out there listening before you get bored of this and decide to go play with the cat or something, hello. But with all that being said, get your bingo cards ready. Bingo card C was the coin flip winner of today's poll. If you'd like to participate in the poll that chooses the weekly bingo card, be sure to follow me on Twitter. It's down there in the corner at scribe_light. And as well, before I forget, please, at some point during the course of the stream, if you direct your attention to the GoFundMes and the, I should say just fundraisers in general, because there's a couple of sources for them at the top of the chat box for our friends Moonshock and Angry Illinoisian. Both of them and their families are experiencing some hardship right now because of some medical issues. So if you have a couple of bucks to spare, please think about donating there. And if not, if you could at least share the links to their fundraisers on your social media, I'd appreciate it. And okay, so I just got a tweet, not a tweet, sorry, a text from Sister Scribe. So my sister, I wouldn't say she's got the mind of a dirty sailor, but in this instance, she does, because she decided to take something I said in a literal sense and turn it into something off color. Now, I am not going to repeat it because this is a family show. So if you happened to interpret what I said about my sister's alternate activities in a way that was unbecoming a grown adult, well, then you and my sister are on the same page. There you go. All right, with all that being said, we're going to start off with a couple of seconds for sound test. This TED Talk, this official TED Talk, comes in at just over 9 minutes, so a relatively short one. Do with that what you will. And so let me know if you can hear it, and then we will proceed. The first part's silent. I took out the music.
In the coming decades, my generation of millennials and Gen Zers will inherit the largest amount of wealth humanity has ever created.
Well, good for you. Aren't you special? Thank you, Keeverdam. What happened to your flame ringtone? Oh, well, my text ringtone is the little stinger from the show The Shield. When my phone rings, as in a call is coming in, that's when you get Sebado's flame. So there you go. Just so you know. Thank you, Keeverdam. Appreciate it. And thank you, as always, for posting the fundraisers. You guys hear that all right? Sounds great to Chicago Mike. Let's see. Does he mean debt? I was suspecting he was going to say debt, but he says wealth. Just as a result of being part of that generation?
Some $30 trillion.
Wait. Let's start over. Let's back up a second. Sorry. The generations are going to inherit what again? Yeah, I would have assumed he'd say debt. Did he say wealth?
In the coming decades, my generation of millennials and Gen Zers will inherit the largest amount of wealth humanity has ever created.
The largest amount of wealth. I think he meant debt. But he said wealth. Good catch. You're ridiculous lunatic. Just want to make sure I get credit where credit is due. Because my brain was expecting him to say debt. Okay.
Some $30 trillion.
Yes, $30 trillion they're going to inherit?
That's a huge wallet.
Wait, okay, guess what, millennials and Gen Zers in my audience? If you didn't already know, get your bank accounts ready. You're about to get your portion of $30 trillion just for being alive.
Unluckily for us, we'll also inherit some huge issues. Climate change, geopolitical instability, inequality. What we choose to do or not do with this enormous wallet will define the future of our species.
Whoa, that's some heavy stuff. Hey, Bluntly Blondie's in the chat. Let's see, what's this? What's this from Bluntly Blondie? Okay, nope, I'd rather Scribe Light's nice, sarcastic tenor voice than Candace Owens' shrill, angry voice. Why, thank you, Bluntly. I appreciate that. I'll emphasize my tenor as we proceed just for you. Yes, I'll let the commentary on what's going on in the conservosphere happen elsewhere. If you guys don't know about it, check out Sinatra Says, look at Ranting Monkey. They're all over it. I'm not the one to speak on it right now, but it's kind of entertaining to watch otherwise. Anyway, yes, you're going to inherit a $30 trillion wallet that you're going to save the world, eh?
No pressure, folks. Why might you ask, am I talking about my generation's wallet?
Because you want your piece of it?
Well, the reason why is because I'm an investor, and the essence of my job is to allocate your savings to build a better future.
So I'm going to trust you with my, wait, I don't count. I'm too old for you. I'm Generation X, so I don't come into this equation. Okay. Why should, okay, I'll pretend though. Let me pretend for a second. All right, let me pretend to be a millennial. Let's see. Give me money. I don't want to work for it. No, wait, is that too easy? Okay. Anyway, let's say I have some money. Why should I invest with you?
Because I'm also a millennial who doesn't particularly like losing sleep over the thought of rising global temperatures. My job also requires me to think about what's good for society.
So you're a humanitarian, are you? Okay, well, what do you think is best for society then, as a millennial who doesn't worry about climate change, which admittedly that is a rarity.
And from where I sit, one of the keys to bettering the world is ESG investing.
I'm sure. Straight out. Wait, we were just having the whole Davos thing is happening right now, isn't it? Isn't it the world, the WEF or whatever it is? The World Economic Forum is taking place right now, and we have a ESG advocate right here on our stage. Oh boy. Yeah, let's go to the bingo card real quick, just so we can keep ourselves apprised of what we're looking for. Sorry, let me pull it up here. All right, so on the bingo card, let's go over it once just for reminder's sake, and then we'll see if anything applies. Plays victim? No, if he has access to a $30 trillion wallet, not so far. Leaves out vital context? Iffy at best right now. Weightless example. Anecdote that probably never happened. Benevolent condescension. Well, he is a millennial, so we'll probably get there if not already. Self-vilification or wretchedness? Not yet. Feminism? No. Childhood or family anecdote? Not yet. Privilege? Yeah, I'm going to wait and see if he says the word, but it's already kind of implied. Sales pitch for product or service? I think this might apply with him saying that he's the investor and he's going to use the money. But I'm going to wait to see if he gets more specific. Microaggressions, unconscious bias, not yet. Patriarchy, no. Wage gap, possibly. Mind reading assumes motives, possibly as well. Attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase, we'll see. Word salad, not yet. Diversity, equity, and or inclusion, not yet. Marginalized or marginalization. Contradicts own point or argument. We're not there yet. Systemic or institutional. A list. Remember, that has to be a formal list of some kind. White supremacy. Argumentative, non sequitur, or collectivizes own demographic. Well, I think millennials counts as collectivizing one's own demographic. So circling that one, and for the heck of it, circling free space. So far, several things implied but not yet said. We have free space and collectivizes own demographic. Remember, this is bingo card C. The links are in the description if you haven't already got your card up. And let's continue.
ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance.
Mm-hmm.
Think of ESG as additional little pieces of data that some investors consider when analyzing the risks or opportunities of an investment.
Sure, like social credit scores. Are you going to talk about social credit scores? I bet you're not.
So, for example, a car company that starts selling more electric vehicles may be around longer in a future where we can't burn as many fossil fuels.
Oh, you mean the fossil fuels necessary to create the materials that are required to build the batteries and build the cars? You mean the fossil fuels necessary to generate the electricity that's going to charge those batteries to move those cars? You mean those fossil fuels? Electric cars don't stop the necessity of fossil fuels. Sorry.
So an investor might consider that company to be a safer place to put your money. In an ideal world,
yes,
here's what ESG promises.
Okay, promises.
It promises better investment returns because money is invested in companies with sustainable practices, which makes them likelier to be around longer term.
Wow. It almost sounds too good to be true.
It promises business leaders who share more and better data about what their companies are doing.
Oh, right. Yeah, because companies are so transparent about what they're doing. Oh, okay.
It promises greater productivity by allocating money to companies that maintain strong relationships with customers, employees, and suppliers.
Wow. That's some big promises. Big promises. Are those promises likely to be kept?
That's the vision.
Uh-huh.
The good news is that some people, younger generations especially, have started buying into this vision.
Oh, I know that they have. I don't know if it's visible on the screen there. I'm trying to get the reference for this. The source, Morningstar Direct / Sustain FI, or I don't know. I don't know what Morningstar Direct is. For those of you listening at home, there's a bar graph on the screen now. Sustainable assets under management. And it shows from 2013 to 2021 in billions of dollars, going from less than $100 billion in 2013 to just somewhere in the range of, say, 375 billion, I'm going to guess, by 2021. Sustainable assets under management by who? I don't know. Maybe he'll tell us.
And ESG strategies have gained a ton of momentum over the past years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the good news. Hashtag happy.
Oh, okay. I'll be kind. He's really showing his millennial pedigree, isn't he?
The not so good news is that we're still far away from achieving the full promises of ESG.
We have a long way to go, everybody. Not everybody's on board yet with ESG. We have a long way to go.
Here's a sobering fact.
That despite the fact that everything you said is a promise of an absolute utopia, it's just not happening. Why? Here's a sobering fact. If you had the answer, the magic bullet to handle all economic problems and save the world, why isn't everybody accepting it as true? Why is it such a hard sell? Are there doubts? Are there promises that perhaps you can't keep? Does it sound too good to be true to most actual, experienced business investors? Maybe. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Promises. Yeah. Show me the results. Show me a company that has done nothing but ESG for 10 years. What their totals were before they did ESG and what their totals were after ESG. Give me an active example. I ask for this in nearly every presentation I look at. When somebody comes up with a notion or a proposal or makes a statement of fact, okay, I'm open. My ears are as well. Give me an active example where you show the difference between a company that did this and a company that didn't, and the transition from a company that has been doing it versus what they were doing beforehand. One example doesn't necessarily solve the question, but it would definitely help your argument. You got one for me?
A recent survey from Callan, a major investment consulting firm, suggests that about half of institutional investors consider the benefits of ESG to be unclear or unproven.
Suggests? Okay. Well, if 50% of people aren't sure about it, then I guess it's a push.
In other words, many of the people who will allocate millennials and Gen Zers money aren't fully convinced that ESG is relevant when deciding where to put your money.
Are they wrong?
Now, I think there are many reasons why this might be the case.
Because you're promising the moon?
For example, investors focused on short-term outcomes might not necessarily know the best way to consider longer-term sustainability.
Okay, so 50% of everybody interviewed doubts this. So there is no consensus, and just as many people effectively think it's good. So what are their concerns? Okay, now, again, every time I approach one of these things, whether it's a TEDx talk or a panel presentation discussing a topic, my brain always immediately falls into the basic construction of an essay, a persuasive essay, right? You start out with your introductory statement and your hypothesis, whatever it is. You then have the body of the paper where you go over your hypothesis and provide evidence or examples that back up your hypothesis. And then at the end, you restate your hypothesis and summarize some of the examples you provided in the body of the paper. That's where my mind goes. That's what my mind is expecting to encounter when I start watching one of these things. It's like, okay, hypothesis, ESG promises to do all of these things in positive ways for the environment, for the economy, and for people. All right, that's your hypothesis. Now I need examples. Okay, your first example is 50% of investment strategists that were polled don't believe in it. Okay, well, that's fine. Now tell us why they said they didn't believe in it, and then provide counterpoints to their concerns. And then you can still save your essay. Is that where you're going?
Or there may be a sense that companies can't do well and do good at the same time. Whatever the reason may be, this is a problem, folks.
Whatever the reason may be. So you don't know what is backing up their doubts about ESG. Well, then how are you going to disprove them or convince me? Let's pretend I'm one of those doubtful individuals, because I am. How are you going to persuade me that my doubts are either without merit or aren't nearly as bad as maybe I think they are?
If the people running the investment strategies don't anticipate ESG will work, how can we achieve its full promises?
No. How can you counter their concerns? You're proceeding on the notion that ESG is perfect without argument, right? You need to provide us information about why they're concerned and how they are wrong. Even if you end up being wrong or overstating something, that's how you have to frame the next part of your argument. Are you going to do that? I have severe doubts.
The key word in all of this is expect.
Okay.
Let me now tell you something I didn't fully appreciate until I started working in finance.
Okay.
We'd all like to think that investment decisions are made with cold, hard data and nothing else. But the truth is that investors are people, and the economy is made of people.
Oh, it's just so Soylent Green. What the hell are you Don't worry about data. It's about people. It's about emotion. You know, there's no facts necessary. It's just, just people. Okay. Yeah.
Which means that, like it or not, a lot of what happens in financial markets comes down to psychology and expectations.
Okay, so how are you going to improve the expectations of the 50% financial analysts or strategists or whatever they were who doubt the efficacy and utility of ESG? How? I expect you would have to show them data, not from Star Trek, the actual information that proves, or at least tends to suggest, that your suggestion, your strategy, is a beneficial one. I'm a financial investor. I want you to trust me with your money. But let's not talk about data and hard facts. Let's just talk about people. And I think Chicago Mike, is there a new drinking game? Every time he says promise, that might be a good one. Although I wouldn't recommend it because you might get alcohol poisoning. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Okay, anyway, yes, Soylent Green is, investing is people,
And these expectations can be a force for good or bad. John Maynard Keynes, one of the fathers of modern economics, once famously described how powerful expectations, or animal spirits, as he called them, can play a powerful role in markets.
Yes, there is a certain level of psychology involved when it comes to investing and markets. It's true. But you're talking about a process. You're talking about ESG. You're talking about a business model, effectively, that requires numbers and facts and evidence, not animal spirits.
He also had a pretty sweet mustache.
Wow, boy, dude, You should totally quit your day job. Totally.
Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, you do. You do, very clumsily.
Point is that I've seen the power of what expectations can do. And here's a firsthand example.
Where are you looking at? You just got this far off in the distance, sort of like dead glare off at an angle. Why aren't okay, maybe it's a stage fright thing. I don't want to hold it against him necessarily because Lord knows I wouldn't probably be all that comfortable on a stage in front of people. But really, if you want to engage with your audience, if you want to feel like you're actually making a connection, you should like look at your audience, not like got a 1,000-yard stare. I don't know. Just me.
I'm from Venezuela.
Okay.
And in the late 2010s, my home country experienced one of the worst periods of hyperinflation ever recorded.
Yes.
Now, there were many reasons why this hyperinflation took place, and I won't go into all of them here. But among those reasons was a concept called inflation expectations. What inflation expectations basically means is that when people believe prices in the future will go up, that belief, that animal spirit, can literally cause prices to rise today.
Right. So conceivably unfounded paranoia could have an effect on the market. Like, say, the price of toilet paper during the pandemic or the availability thereof. Something like that? So you want to, what, turn the power of unsubstantiated belief in your benefit? That's the only direction I can see this going. That's the only direction I can see this going. Thank you, Mr. Tiggletrunk, for the dancing, lovely dog cat fox. Oh, dog cat fox.
Wowie fucking wow.
Thank you, Satsu Dog Cat Fox. And thank you, Mr. Tiggletrunk. Appreciate it. All right. Yes. Paranoia and fear of something oncoming can cause people to take actions they otherwise wouldn't in a rational sense and make things happen that shouldn't happen if they had all the facts. Okay.
Expectations create reality. So coming back to ESG, what Venezuela and Lord Keynes have taught me is that making ESG and sustainability mainstream will require us to literally redefine society's expectations of what ESG is and what it can do.
Right. So you're going to... Did I call it effectively? Okay, you're going to use an example of irrational expectation and fear and reaction thereto of something that could happen, and you want to leverage that same mechanism towards ESG. So operating and making decisions not based on fact, but based on belief. And you wonder why half of your analysts didn't have faith in ESG as a successful business model. Okay. I am circling, if I should have done it earlier, but doing it now, sales pitch for product or service. If ESG is such a thing, this is definitely a sales pitch for it. Benevolent condescension. Actually, you know what? Weightless exam. No, I gotta wait. I gotta wait and see what the totality of his presentation is. Several things could fit. I'm gonna wait and see.
That might sound like a tall order, but I think there's a few things you and I can do about it.
Okay.
One solution investors are working on is to standardize ESG metrics.
Oh, now you're going to talk about metrics. Standardize them so they're not currently standardized. There's no one measurement for success. Also, you said one solution. That sounds like the beginning of a list to me, so I'm circling a list. Standardize ESG metrics. So currently they're all over the place. Why?
So for context, right now, there are lots of divergent opinions about what metrics matter most or are material.
So ESG still isn't well defined, you say? Is that one of the reasons the analysts didn't have all that much faith in it? It was difficult to measure because nobody could get on the same page as to how to determine success? Okay.
And in the middle of this analysis paralysis, because there's a million things we could be measuring, it's no surprise why some investors are skeptical.
Oh, it's no surprise. It's no surprise. Well, how about the bottom line? What is the measure of the bottom line? Again, give me an example business that operated without ESG for a period of time, and what was their bottom line during that period of time. And then show me that same company after they adopted ESG and what was the effect on their bottom line. Because here's the thing, no matter how forward-thinking, sustainable, righteous a business might be, if it's not making money, it is not going to survive. So, of all the metrics you could concern yourself with, how about we start with the bottom line? But okay, proceed.
Standardizing ESG metrics is showing some promise already. Instead of incentivizing investors to cherry pick data that makes companies look good, they encourage us to measure what matters.
Oh, what matters. Okay, what matters?
For example, data security.
Data security. Okay.
Is massively important for healthcare companies because patient safety and security are paramount.
You could have fooled me with some of the data breaches that have taken place over the last several years in both healthcare organizations and banking and telephone companies and so on. But sure, I agree.
Although important, data security might not be as central a consideration for, say, a kitchen cabinet manufacturer.
Why not? I mean, if client information, credit cards, and so other things are there, why shouldn't it be? What?
There's a cool Harvard Business School study that was released not too long ago, and it found that companies that address material ESG issues can outperform companies that don't.
Can? It's not do, it's can. Oh, okay. I'm going to circle weightless example over the cabinet making company. Like, oh, it's not as important for cabinet making company. It's important for every company. Data security at this point in time. Are you kidding me? Small or large business, data security is important. What? But it can. Okay, tell me more.
By as much as 9% per year.
Oh, it can. By possibly as much as 9% per year, with the margin of error being plus or minus 3%. So maybe 6%, but then maybe 1%, then maybe 0%. Okay. Wow. A whole maybe.
That's good news.
It can be good news.
Hashtag can't stop, won't stop.
Oh, God. Seriously. Like, hey, you know what? I could probably put you in touch with Kurt Metzger. You could probably get an opening show or something. I'm serious. Yeah. And if Sister Scribe is listening still, which I can understand why perhaps not. Isn't he great? Wouldn't he be great on open mic night?
Here's a second solution. Investors like me are working on literally changing the way we calculate financial forecasts.
Oh, literally?
So right now, most investors use financial models to make educated predictions about what a company might do in the future and how much money it's going to make.
Yeah, educated based on past performance, current trends, so on and so forth. Yeah, you know, data. You know, those hard facts and figures. Oh, but we're more worried about manipulating people's emotions, right? Because of the ESG part of it, right? What was that again?
Let's just say we also excel at making spreadsheets. I'm so thrilled. More than 0 people laughed at that one.
Yeah, that's the biggest percentage so far.
What if, though? What if, in addition to basic financial data, we built in other pieces of data into our models that are predictive of how much earnings a company is going to make?
Oh, are you talking about ESG data, the non-standardized data, the emotional data, the well-being of our workforce, the amount of Starbucks an employee has during the course of a day that determines their happiness or something? I don't know. Thank you, Kiefer Dam. Damn, don't strangle yourself. No, it's not me. Oh, no. This isn't auto. No. David Carradine. No, this is the bad jokes. It's him. It's him that's doing it. Him. Him.
But beyond standardized ESG metrics.
No. What were you talking? Wait a second. What other data points are you talking about?
Predictive of how much earnings a company is going to make.
Like what? No, dude, you don't. Stop teasing with this stuff. Either you have something to say about it or you don't. Don't like say, oh, we could add other data points. Well, like?
But beyond standardized ESG metrics or new ways of calculating financial forecasts,
which you're not going to detail in any way, shape, or form, apparently.
I think the third and most important thing we need is trust.
Oh, gee. Okay, going to the bingo card leaves out vital context. Yeah, the analysts, they use old business models of things and predictive this, that, and the other. We use other data points. Now let me move on to my other subject. No. Yes, leaves out vital context. Let's see. Benevolent condescension, at least in the frame of those jokes. I'm sorry. It's just those. Ugh. Let's see. Mind reading assumes motives. We'll wait on that one. Okay. Anyway, you want people to trust you. Okay. So far, let's go down the list real quick. You've told us that half of the people who are experts on this subject don't have faith in your pitch. All right. Secondly, you're telling us that there's no standardized way to measure success based on your pitch. Okay. Thirdly, you and your generation have these new ways of evaluating the performance of current companies or future stocks or investing or whatever, but you're not going to tell us. And now you want us to talk about trust. Okay. Proceed.
If we trust and expect that companies that do good will be around longer, we start to create a future where ESG becomes an indelible part of any company.
No, that's circular. No. I trust a company is going to do well if I have some evidence of its performance and or potential in hard numbers. You are literally trying to sell a trust me story now because you've offered nothing else up to this point. But okay.
We start to create a future where sustainable companies are less risky to own and money managers believe in using the right data to make better decisions.
Which data? Which data is that? The non-standard measurements of ESG success? The measurements that you won't even name? The methods of predictability that you won't even detail in your own analysis of the market? What are you talking about?
Own and money managers believe in using the right data to make better decisions. We start to create a world where you, the personal investor, leverage the power of expectations to demand even more tools, even better metrics, and so on and so forth.
Oh, God. This guy, okay, I don't know anything about our speaker. I don't even know that I remember his name right now. Okay, but everything I'm hearing here might as well be a sales pitch for a con scam. This is a confidence scam. Just trust me. Trust me. We have better ways of analyzing the data. Our method will promise you this, and this. I don't know what else to say other than this is a presentation without substance. In fact, it is not substantive, Irate Bear.
Where trust in the system improves further.
Yeah, belief. Yeah, just believe in it, guys. Everybody, start clapping. Tinkerbell needs your belief in her to live again. Clap, everybody. Clap for Tinkerbell.
Economists might call this a virtuous cycle. I sometimes call this the virtuous cycle of how to keep humanity alive for centuries and eons to come. Yay, awesome.
I'm sorry, my friend. You have done absolutely nothing to convince me to trust you with a cent of my money. Nothing. I'm a total layman. I am an English major, and I have a few small investments that I occasionally look at and just watch especially these last 2 years, watch the numbers drop in their value. But that aside, you're not selling me on this. You're not. Really.
But that might be a little too long. So for short, let's call it the virtuous cycle of investing in the 21st century.
Let's call it. That sounds like a buzz phrase to me. So circling that one on the board. Good gravy.
Because like it or not, it represents the future of investing.
Does it?
If there's one thing to take away from what I've been saying, it's this.
Okay.
Fellow millennials and Gen Zers, start thinking about your assets today. Start thinking about your savings, what might be passed down to you, and how it can be used to build the world's future. If you don't invest your own money, ask your fund manager what they plan to do with your assets.
My fund manager. Yeah, we all just, have one reflexively of my fund manager. I will say that thinking about your savings, thinking about your finances, thinking about planning for the future, regardless of your generational position, is always a good thing to do. I really think, and I don't think I'm too out in the woods by myself on this one, that encouraging and teaching financial literacy to all people, especially kids these days as they're growing up into this world, would be a positive step to improving people's lives in the long run. With all these TikTok millionaires and crypto bros and everything else, the sense that money is just all over the place and is a frivolous thing. And, oh, look at my rented Lamborghini that I'm not going to tell you is rented. And look at my fabulous mansion that I'm not going to tell you I'm renting. And all this other stuff. It's very easy for, I assume, I can assume that a lot of people can look at all of this seemingly free-flowing wealth and not understand the value of a dollar versus, say, my generation and certainly my parents' generation. So in that regard, as much as I am able to in this instance, I agree with him in that sentiment.
What metrics they use and why.
Yeah.
Your pension funds, your 401k, even the money in your savings or checkings account.
Checkings account? Okay. What metrics do you use for ESG and why? Like what metrics do you think prove the value and utility of ESG specifically? You didn't really say, just that, are they sustainable? Well, define sustainability. What are you talking about?
All can be put to work
Yes.
to create the virtuous cycle of investing in the 21st century.
Virtuous.
And if this sounds like a pie in the sky idea right now,
it does right now, and with a couple extra changes to different labels and things, it sounded the same pie in the sky idea 50 years ago. Trust me story. I have the better metrics and analysis. I know the secret to business success if you'll just go along with me, and let's talk about trust. Yeah, no, I've heard this song and dance before, and I think it was on an info commercial at like 1 a.m. in 1997.
think about Lord Kane's mustache for a second and consider whether it's your expectations that may need changing.
What?
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I didn't expect much, and I was rewarded for that expectation. Yes, I trusted in my instincts just based on the title. And here we are with a payoff of the bottom line. That was a terrible presentation. And it's a TED Talk. Remember, guys, this is not a TEDx. This is not some off in the boonies, some community college, whatever. This is a bona fide TED Talk. Remember when TED Talks were good? Remember it was the cream of the crop that ended up on a TED Talk, you know, the experts, those that were like the most revered in their fields and the subject matter that they were presenting on. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. We kind of already knew that, but boy, oh boy, I was hoping for at least something interesting out of this. All I got was ESG. What is it? Who cares? All right. Well, all that being said, let's move on to the wonderful world of the bingo card. I'll go over it one more time by myself. And here's where we are. And if you have any arguments for squares to be circled, hold on to them for a moment. Let me zoom in on it a little bit for additional clarity. Is that too much? And that's perfect. All right. So let's see. Plays victim. I cannot say I ever heard him try to characterize himself as a victim, and not necessarily even by proxy. So, no. Anecdote that probably never happened. An anecdote that probably never happened. I mean, the only anecdote I can think of was the one about the reaction of people to inflation in Venezuela. And I can believe that happened. I'm not an expert on the recent history of Venezuela and its economy, but I can believe that that happened. Again, we saw similar examples of emotion fueling action versus facts during the course of the pandemic, so sure. Self-vilification or wretchedness. Nope, he never said that he was part of the problem or anything else. Feminism, no, never brought up anything about the battle of the sexes per se. Childhood or family anecdote. He grew up in Venezuela. That's about as close as I'll come, and I'll go there just because I'm generous like that. He talked about his origins, so kind of close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. Privilege. I mean, he sure implied it. You know, talk to your money managers. Oh yeah, I have a couple of those. Yeah, I'm gonna circle that one. Plus the whole $30 trillion wallet that apparently everybody's got access to. Did you know that, millennials and Gen Zers in the chat? Okay. Microaggressions and conscious bias. I can't think of anything that would apply. Patriarchy, similar. No. Wage gap. You know, as much as he was talking about the economy and so on, he never really talked about pay disparities, did he? I don't think so. Well, no, when he talked about, I hate to double dip, but I'm trying to think of something here. He talked about the inflation in Venezuela. Yeah. All right. Again, since it's not a bingo square and we're kind of far off on that, mind reading assumes motives. Yeah, like the analysts that he was talking about and why they were concerned. Actually, no, he didn't even specify why they were concerned. Maybe I've been bamboozled by his raucous jokes. I'm trying to think of an example of mind reading assumes motives. Not coming to me. Okay, word salad. That thing at the end with the picture of the world and the virtuous cycle, and like, what are you even talking about? What are you even talking about? If not, so many other examples during the course of the presentation where he just sort of like brought something up and then let it drop off. Anyway, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Did he ever say the words? I don't think so. I don't believe so. I'm happy to be corrected. Marginalization. Now contradicts own point or argument. Yeah. ESG promises this, that, and the other, and he never gave us any examples of its success. Not a one. Not a company, not a country, nothing. The absence of proof when you make a statement like that of the promises of a thing, to me, contradicts your own point or argument. Systemic, institutional, I don't know, the market, investing, economy, inflation, etc. I think that qualifies. And consequently...
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Right?
Yeah!
Our first bingo on the diagonal. Let's keep going. White supremacy, never brought up race. And lastly, argumentative non sequitur. Yeah, if I didn't already do that before, I'm going to do it now. Or was the weight? Did I already use? I used the cabinet company thing as the weightless example, didn't I? Argumentative non sequitur. Yeah, you know what? It's going to be the fact that he brought up the how the current financial analysts use these models for assessing the success or prosperity or potential of the market, and we use other data points, and then just goes on and never says what. Just goes onward. And if not that, then everything else where he just kind of like brought up something and never explained it. Like, okay. So I'm going to do that one as well. So that is where I'm at on the card. If you have an argument for a square yet to be circled, and I'm sure there are some, please put in the chat now and tag me in your comment if you would. It makes it easier for me to see. I'll scroll up a bit and see if anybody said anything prior to this. Let's see. Jaeger Pony. I'm still wondering when the pyramids and ancient aliens come into this. Well, I think if the talk had gone on another 10 minutes or so, a pyramid of a kind would have been proposed, but that's just me guessing. Let's see. Ridge Eagle. I want to go back to 2009. I don't like my timeline. 2009? You mean right after the economy crashed? Bold move, Cotton. Maybe 2009 was a great year for you. I hope it was. Let's see. Tony Giff. There are days when I think the internet was a bad thing. Outside chat boards and very slowly uploading porn pics. Yeah. Remember the Venetian blinds effect on downloading images back in the olden days of dial-up? Oh, those are the days. The suspense. The suspense as each line of pixels slowly generated itself on the screen. Those were the days. Let's see. Anybody? I mean, let's see. Jaeger Pony. Assuming the motives of the companies using ESG. No, I think was he? He didn't really. Again, he didn't even give us an example of a company using ESG. Right? He brought up the electric cars. A company making electric cars, and then like a cabinet making company. I'll expand on that. If you have more on that, expand on it. I'm not quite sure that applies. Any arguments for squares to be circled? Because I know mind reading assumes motives. If we get that one, we at least get 2 bingos out of the deal. But I'll need a good argument. Derek Leroux, does Ted use ESG? I don't know. Maybe that does explain the quality of the talks. I mean, I went over the guidelines for what constitutes a good or approved TEDx talk a while back. I don't know what TED uses now to qualify a good talk or not. Resolute Germ. Assuming not using ESG is going to lose money. What one are you arguing for in that sense? Mind reading or anecdote that probably never happened? Which are you going for? Tell me, oh, tell me true. And anything else, guys? I know there's an argument there. I know there's a good argument for mind reading assumes motives. There's got to be. I'm just not thinking of it myself. And it's a bingo square, so I want to make sure that I've got some backup instead of just circling it reflexively. All right, Jaeger Pony. He's assuming that ESG is a good thing and that no one's using it as a smokescreen for nefarious behavior, that people pushing it have noble intentions. There you go. Yes, companies are going to do good. Therefore, companies that are not using ESG are obviously doing bad. I agree. And with that, go to the right button here. How about you?
Bingo.
What?
Of course!
There we go. 2 bingos. That's fine. Alexander Garver. I'm not here to make friends. Well, it's too late. You have friends in the chat. And me. Hi, Alexander. I'll be your friend. I'll be your streaming friend. Hello, friend. We're all friends here, right? All right, everybody? Right. I can tell you something. You won't tell anybody else, will you? Yes. My sister is silly. Ha 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 ha. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell a soul. You want that Dr. Pepper? You can't have my Dr. Pepper. It's my Dr. Pepper. No. Friends don't let friends take their Dr. Peppers. I respect your Dr. Peppers. Respect mine. Jeez. I mean, we might be friends. We're not that kind of friends. But I think, guys, that might be it. It was a relatively short TED talk. And as far as our speaker's concerned, that was his best pitch for the efficacy, the benefits, and the sales of ESG. Hey, here are a bunch of promises. It's not very well standardized. Trust me. It's all about emotions without facts and data. Don't you want to be a good person? I've heard these things before. And they've applied to a lot of things that turned out very badly for those that put their time and or money and or Kool-Aid in. So the guy who is sitting, mostly joking, but anecdote that probably never happened, ESG being beneficial to companies statistically significantly better. I mean, that kind of covers the whole shebang, the whole anecdote, right? The whole talk was kind of an anecdote. ESG is good. All right, you know what? It's not a bingo square, and I'm feeling generous because of our new friend, Alexander. So there you go. Good one, guy who's sitting. I'll take that. But with that, everybody, I'm going to call it here. A relatively short episode, but sometimes that happens. Not a whole heck of a lot else to say. A couple of programming notes. On Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern will be the Sunday stream, where I'll talk about a thing. Not sure what it'll be yet. I'll probably decide on Saturday. Also, I've done a couple of videos now, just reflexively, because I find it so interesting, on the entire Dungeons & Dragons Wizards of the Coast Hasbro PR nightmare that has taken place over the last couple of weeks. If you're at all interested in gaming or just want to see some corporate shenanigans taking place, I've done a couple of streams now. One was called the Pepperjack stream, Dungeons and Jackwagons. If anybody gets that reference, I didn't see anybody that did, but if you get that reference, congratulations. You're a kid of the early 2000s. And then I did one just the other day with a seeming mea culpa from Wizards of the Coast / Dungeons & Dragons, except it really wasn't. But you can assess that for yourself or listen to me talk about it too. But either way, check those out if you would. And if you also would, keep an eye out on my Twitter, because right now, as of right now, the weekend, not sure which day yet, wait and see, the weekend of February 4th, I'll be doing my second episode, because it's not very scheduled well so far, of Living on Borrowed Crime, where I interview true crime content creators from YouTube and conceivably in the future elsewhere. And my guest will be Dave's Lemonade. If you're not aware of Dave's Lemonade on YouTube, check out his channel. He's the only Dave's Lemonade that I know of, and he has some very, very good and very entertaining and sometimes disturbing breakdowns of either major crimes and trials or To Catch a Predator type deals, which is what he started out as doing. Really great stuff. He's a really, really nice guy. And his style, I'll talk more about it when I interview him, but his style caught my ear, so to speak, when I first encountered him, when his channel was very small, and he remains one of my favorites. So go check that out if you would. And if you do, be sure to say hi and that I sent you. He might blush or something. But with that, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or to the fundraisers pinned to the top of the chat box, thank you so much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. Everyone, have a good rest of your Thursday. Have a good rest of your week. I hope you have a fun and safe weekend. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.